except for Bethenny Frankel's team, yes. Is an improbable comeback in the cards? Well, it's never over till it's over. Joining us to talk up her chances is the entrepreneur and author Bethenny Frankel. Bethenny is also currently raising money for Australian bushfires, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Bethenny, always good to see you. Welcome back.
Good to see you as well. Thank you for having me.
I'm sorry the stock picks haven't worked out. You had Boeing. I guess no one could have anticipated fully the kind of year that Boeing has had since our draft in the spring. Tilray, which is down a lot. That's one of the weed stocks. And Facebook, which has faced its own challenges. I guess you threw some long Hail Marys that just didn't connect this time.
Listen, you can't win them all, and there still are several weeks to come. And it wasn't a Boeing equipment failure. That was the plane crash. So, you know, it's like a crapshoot for me. I'm not a stock picker by trade, so I come to the CNBC Draft and try to do the best I can, and let's see. Doesn't look very good for me, but
well,
I can take my hits.
That's okay. I remember a couple of years ago when one of our contestants picked the company AMD, and it was the reason why that individual, I believe, finished in last place. The last 2 years, AMD, the same stock, is the reason people are at the top of the charts. So sometimes it's not what you buy, but when you buy. Let's talk about your involvement in raising money for the Australian bushfires. Tell us what attracted you to it and what the charity is, how much you've raised, and how you dispense the money over in Australia.
I have an initiative. It's called Be Strong, and we partner with different 501c3s depending upon the disaster. I have a partner, Global Empowerment Mission, and we specialize in disaster relief. So I personally have been connected to and in Mexico, Guatemala, Puerto Rico many times, the Bahamas many times, and North Carolina, Texas, and now we are going into Australia after having a lot of experience with the Amazon and the California fires, where we've outfitted hundreds of firefighters to not only help in fighting the fire, but to make sure that the fire stays out until all the fires go out. So right now, the current situation is that we have connected with firefighters in the U.S., teams of firefighters, and are corresponding with firefighters in Australia to send over teams at a time. We are amassing surplus fire gear from around the world to send in containers to be able to support these firefighters. We're only halfway through the fire season, and it's a very, very hot season, and there's a drought. So we have to make sure that we can have teams going in and out to really sustain the season. But Be Strong, we stay through a rebuild. So we are still in the Bahamas building 700 roofs and 3 schools. We are in Puerto Rico as we speak because they just had an earthquake, to go follow up with them and give them more cash cards for the people who've lost their homes. So we help animals, we help people in shelters, and we sort of go from saving lives in the beginning through helping them to rebuild.
You have 25 people who've been killed, 2,000 homes destroyed, and the fires aren't out yet. Are you able to take some of what you've learned from the California wildfires and some of the teams that you were working with there and go ahead and deploy that right away to Australia?
Absolutely. Even understanding how to outfit them, even having a good relationship with firefighters and their team captains. Also, you know, these fires are they're a massive fire, but then these little small fires, they are troublemakers, and they start these bigger fires. So you even need people, men or women with backpacks with water to spray these little fires before they become a big problem. You kind of have to handle it from air, from ground. And yes, we are basically fire experts now after having been in California for months and worked in the Amazon to really help keep things under control.
These are of an amazing scale, these fires in Sydney. One of my dear friends who lives in my town but is Australian just returned from Sydney and came back with a bad case of asthma, the only time she's ever had it. Bethenny, thank you very much, and you'll get them next year if you'd rejoin us in our stock draft.
Okay, thank you for the vote of confidence.